Kizamde! Hop on the beat!
In May, we saw the release of the 5th issue of the JOJO Magazine. If you aren't already familiar with it, it's a semi-frequent magazine release focused on all things JOJO. It's been coming out since 2022 and includes things like interviews, behind-the-scenes content, short novel stories, and manga chapters. So once again, I'd like to do a deep dive and show off everything new we got this time around. Starting off with the cover, we have a new Araki illustration of Rohan in Venice, lining up with the newly released At a Confessional live-action film as part of the Rohan TV drama series. On the back cover, we also get a new illustration of Kyoka and Rohan's dog Bakin. The issue then opens with a collection of the original manuscripts for the At a Confessional manga chapter. Then we have a feature on Araki's recent speaking event that took place at the Osamu Tezuka Manga Museum, celebrating the location's 30th anniversary. Osamu Tezuka is obviously a huge figure in the manga industry and easily the single most influential manga artist of all time. Beyond that, however, Araki's career is strongly linked to Tezuka, with him winning a runner-up prize at the Tezuka Awards for his debut one-shot Poker Under Arms in 1981, leading to the two of them meeting. During the interview, Araki goes over Tezuka's work and his own history in reading manga. He also comments on Tezuka's influence in JOJO. One of his examples comes from a chapter of Blackjack where a tumor takes the appearance of a human face, which he says inspired the Stand Empress. Also, when Blackjack's mentor, Dr. Hanma, appears as a ghost behind him after death, Araki says that when rereading this, it reminded him of a stand. And although they don't mention it here, this character's first name is actually Jotaro. When asked his favorite Tezuka characters, Araki chose Blackjack's nemesis Dr. Kiriko and the robot Pluto from Astro Boy, which also happen to be some of my favorite Tezuka characters as well. The topic also shifted to JOJO itself, with Araki saying that his favorite stand is Harvest, and commenting that with the TV drama series releasing, Rohan has become more popular than Jotaro. Araki gifted a signed autograph of Rohan, which was then displayed inside the museum. Next is a feature on the new At a Confessional movie featuring some behind-the-scenes photos and interviews with the director Kazutaka Watanabe, the screenwriter Yasuko Kobayashi, and the actors Arata Iura and Tina Tamashiro who play Tamiya and Maria in the film. Then there's a section showing off many of the real locations from Italy that were featured throughout Part 5. Then a continuation of the segment from last issue titled La Squadra's Last Supper, sharing a recipe for a rice and peas dish. Immediately after this is the first short story of the issue titled Risotto Nero Observes. It follows Risotto on an assassination mission which gives some glimpses into his own past and his reaction to Sorbet and Gelato's deaths. Then we have a segment going over the lava rock in the JOJO lands, a phenomenon that has the power to attract wealth towards it. It goes over the rock's journey in the parts so far and then points out the other wealth manipulating powers that have appeared in the series, like Sugar Mountain, Milagro Man, Harvest, and Marilyn Manson. After this is an advertisement for 2 button-up shirts, one with Rohan from the cover on it, and the other with La Squadra from the previous issue. Now we come to the manga chapter for the issue, a comedy manga titled Echoes Act 50 by Kosuke Masuda. It starts with Koichi being woken up on a park bench by a strange older man, who tells him that he is Echoes Act 50. He says that while Koichi was asleep, his stand continued evolving until reaching Act 50. Act 50's useless ability is to wake people up who are having bad dreams, which is why he woke Koichi up. He explains that the stand first evolved into Act 4, which took the form of a crab. Act 4's ability is to accelerate its own growth, which is why the other evolutions happen so quickly. Echo's Act 10 had the appearance of a fried shrimp, but had super speed and strength and the ability to stop time like Star Platinum. Koichi tries to use the stand, but Act 50 reveals that another one of his abilities is to erase all previous acts. Also, since Act 4 has been erased, the accelerated growth has stopped and Koichi is stuck with Act 50. Koichi takes the stand home and questions why Act 50 has to live with him and can't be unsummoned. Act 50 reveals his third ability, which is that he is always present and can't be turned off. Koichi wakes up and finds out that it was a dream after he summons echoes. However, he discovers Act 4 and realizes the dream is actually a premonition of the future. The stand starts to rapidly evolve into more ridiculous forms. He tries to use Act 10 to freeze time and stop the evolutions, but it evolves before he can do anything. The stand continues evolving until becoming Act 50 again. Koichi is woken up by someone on the park bench again, but finds out nobody is there. However, we can see the drawings made by Act 50 are still on the ground. I actually really enjoyed Echo's Act 50. For being a comedy manga, the chapter is actually pretty well thought out, and I think took advantage of the concept of stand evolution perfectly. It's also genuinely really funny, which isn't a surprise considering Masuda has a long history when it comes to gag manga. Immediately after, we have an interview with Masuda going over his history with the series. He says that he started reading the series when it was in its first part. His favorite character is Joseph, and his favorite stand is Aerosmith. He also comments that he likes the mysterious unseen pilot inside the stand. When asked if he has met Araki before, he says he briefly saw him at the wedding of the mangaka Koji Oishi. The writer of Dr. Stone, Reiichiro Inagaki, introduced him to Araki, but Masuda was so quiet from across the table that Araki couldn't hear him. Now we come to the special feature dedicated to Rohan. First focusing on Rohan's beginnings, we get a compilation of author's notes and advertisements for Rohan's debut Part 4 chapter in a 1993 issue of Weekly Shonen Jump. Around the same time, Dragon Ball was entering the Majin Buu saga, and the Stardust Crusaders drama CD was being advertised. In 1997, we see the release of the first chapter of Thus Spoke Shibe Rohan at a confessional. Then we get a timeline going over all the Rohan chapters and their various adaptations up to the present day. Then we have an interview with two of Araki's former editors about working with him at the time. Apparently at the time, Jump was holding a manga competition where each month a different artist would act as a judge. During Araki's turn, he wrote Rohan as the judge instead, since Araki felt bad about directly giving criticism. Then there's a segment going through Rohan's history and all the key characters he's met over the years, as well as an extensive relationship chart. Then an analysis of Rohan's drawing techniques and the motives behind his art. Throughout the magazine, we also have a series of tribute illustrations of Rohan from other artists. We have Chika Umino, creator of March Comes Like a Lion, the artist Shiwasu Hoshikawa, Yajima, the creator of The Old Man Who is Reincarnated as a Cat, the shoujo manga artist Aki Mochida, Bukabu Ukawa, the creator of Pop Team Epic, and Gege Akutami, the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen. Then there's a segment comparing Koichi and Rohan's editor Kyoka to see how they both inspire Rohan's work. We get a breakdown of all the things Rohan can do with Heaven's Door, and a list of ways to be a good Rohan fan. Then we have a list of the dogs that have appeared throughout the JoJo series and which real-life dog breed they line up with the most. This tells us that Rohan's dog Bakin is a Labrador Retriever, which it notes is the same breed as Raimi's dog Arnold. Iggy is of course a Boston Terrier, and Danny is listed as a German short-haired pointer. Koichi's dog Police is a Bloodhound, the rock dog Iwesuke from JoJolion is compared to a Pomeranian, Tonio's dog is a Maltese, the dog Cars Saved is said to be a mixed breed, Stroheim's dog is a German Shepherd, the dog killed by Angelo was an English Bulldog, and finally the dog Pokey that was killed by Yellow Temperance is a Wire Fox Terrier. Next we have a breakdown of Rohan's house with a full floor plan and all the rooms we get to see in the manga. Then we have an interview with Araki relaying some anecdotes about editors he's had over the years. Next we have a breakdown of the salaries of JoJo characters based on their profession. It estimates that as a manga artist in 1999, Rohan's yearly salary would be 156 million yen. It also takes a look at how much money Rohan actually has. We know that Pink Dark Boy is serialized in multiple countries, which would give him more money. In the Cheap Trick arc, he is furious at hearing it'll cost 20 million to fix the damage to his house. But regardless, his house does end up repaired, so it seems like he has a lot of money. For the Part 9 Rohan, his villa in Hawaii is estimated to be worth 300 to 600 million yen. That and the fact that he had $1 million diamond with him leads them to believe his total assets are worth around 1 billion yen. In the chapter Mutsukabe Hill, Rohan buys up a mountain range and goes bankrupt. Based on the year when this chapter takes place, it estimates that the land is worth 65 million, although that price would have been hiked due to the plans for developing a resort that Rohan was trying to stop. Moving on to other characters, Aya's income is listed at 6 million yen after factoring in her prices and the people paying to maintain their makeup for so long. Tonio makes 5.7 million based on his prices and the capacity of his restaurant. Kira's salary is 4.2 million yen based on that of an average office worker, and Norisuke is listed at 24 million yen for running such a luxury business. And it goes on to list out the salaries of all sorts of characters from other parts of the series. Next we have another novel story for the issue, Synchronicity and Morio. This is actually just the first chapter of what will be a full light novel written by Hotate Shinkawa. It stars Rohan and Josuke and is set in Morio shortly before the events of Part 5. Koichi is looking for someone to watch his dog Police while he's away, but Rohan refuses since after having written a chapter about dogs, he's now sick of them. Rohan then wakes up at Koichi's house having lost a day of memory and finds Josuke there house-sitting for his family who is also on a trip. So the two have a competition to try and solve the mystery of why Rohan is there. So far, this is a pretty entertaining story, and I'm wondering what it'll actually end up being about in future chapters since this one seems to be mostly self-contained. Then we have another La Squadra short story titled The Stray Cat Leaves with the Spring Breeze by Ballad Kitaguni. This one is focused on Aluso, who visits Formaggio's room after his death and finds his pet cat, and he remembers back on their past together. All of these Part 5 short stories that have been releasing in the magazine are actually being compiled together into their own anthology release titled The Crimson Testaments. This includes all of the ones that have been released so far, while also including a new one that will focus on sorbet and gelato. Next, there's a feature on Araki's recent collaboration with the Yebisu Beer Company, where he created some original illustrations to be featured on limited edition beer cans and put on display in the brewery. In an interview, Araki says that he was inspired by the women from Yebisu beer ads he saw as a child to create his illustrations. He also comments that he's looking forward to seeing how his art will look on an aluminum can, which is something he's never seen before. Then we have some advertisements for upcoming in-person JOJO events. First is the JOJO World, a permanent store location that opened up in summer of 2025. Due to the success of the JOJO World events, this location will include JOJO-themed attractions like before and a dedicated Iggy Cafe. It looks like some of the games will be returning from past events, like the one based on Zeppeli punching the frog and the Iggy Coffee Gum game. There are also two new ones. First is one that measures your stats and chooses a stand to match, and a lottery game based on Oh, That's a Baseball. The next event is JOJO Caravan, a traveling exhibition to promote Steel Ball Run and its upcoming anime adaptation. This includes having the manuscript from Part 7's first chapter on display, and selling a collection of JOJO manga merch. Finally, we have JOJO World 3, which opened in April of 2025 with another new collection of attractions, merch, and food. As is tradition for the JOJO magazine, we close off with another conversation between Araki and his longtime editor Ryosuke Kabashima. Araki prepared bruschetta for the two of them, something he featured in the most recent Rohan chapter of the same name, which even included a recipe. Kabashima jokingly praises Araki for advertising the chapter by doing this. Their main dish is Roman carbonara, which Araki said he tried to make more authentic than the Japanese version. The main topic of their discussion was things, so just talking about any interesting stuff they own. Araki shows off some weird-looking chopstick holders, and Kabashima has a unique watch he bought in China, and a stapler he's owned since he was in elementary school. They discuss the recent passing of guitarist Jeff Beck, and that 90 of his guitars are put up for auction, including one that Kabashima had actually given to Beck as a gift. They bring up a wooden drawing board in Araki's office, which Kabashima says is so old it may have been the same one he was using during Cool Shock BT. Araki also says that he's interested in some of the toys he saw as a child, having recently bought an old Tetsujin 28 doll because he recognized it. And that's everything new in the JOJO magazine. With how things panned out, I ended up covering this issue really late, but once again, I'm always happy with the kind of stuff we end up getting in these. It gives me something new to talk about for a minute, and I think it acts as a sort of milestone to look forward at whatever's coming next for the series. And with more news about the Steel Ball Run anime around the corner, I'm expecting to have a lot to talk about soon. As always, I'm planning some more video projects in the immediate future, and I'd like to hear whatever your ideas might be for a niche topic to go over. I recently had a lot of fun doing a video that just focused on Jotaro's time stop from Part 3, so if there's anything like that you think I should make a video on, do let me know. If you want to stay updated on new videos, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. You can also join the Hum and Beat Discord to be notified on new uploads and any important JOJO news. Finally, I'd appreciate if you help support the channel on Patreon or by becoming a YouTube member. All supporters get their names featured at the end of the video and can submit viewer questions which I answer at the end of my major videos. If you want to ask a question, you can send it through the Patreon community chat or in the members-only YouTube community post. I try to answer one question per video, so feel free to leave as many as you want. Thank you for watching. This is the part of the video where I thank my $5 and up patrons. Thank you to Doorbell, Crayon, RigoVids, Zuccato, Pumpkin Doge, Marrow, Sponge Cake, Cakext, Feliciano Rabaja, Rihanna Meme, Christian McDonough, Pulse Dog, Zach Greenfield, FIFO, Rob Goliath, Jacob Smith, Big T, Gold, Red Hot Mayonnaise, Zenkai, Royal Slush, Keenan, Perry, Cho Henshin, Saint Bobo, John Garcia, Crank and Plank, Puffin32, Fran Studios, Shin Megami Tensei Film Reviews, Griffiono, Fiddlehead, Justice, Ed Warg, Jowl Martins, Danilo K, Star the Gunslinger, Bergie, and Ben McGinnis.